been spending literally my entire day today watching and helping AI to learn to play Atari based Breakout. So that's what we're watching here on the screen now. And I have a lot of thoughts after watching it play and learn to play Atari for about the last 6 hours or so now. And so up front, this is a very basic agent. This agent isn't very smart at all. And then so it's been training now for about 6 hours, and then it started off like it couldn't even walk, right? Like it was like worse than a little baby. And then now I'd say if I put a baby on this game, the AI would beat the baby. So that's improvement, right? Before the baby would beat the AI. And then so that's kind of where we're at now after about 6 hours of this. And I think like that's about where we're going to end up with this agent. If you're interested, I've actually like every 100 epochs or episodes, I've been taking screenshots of it, like recording like for like a minute, and I put together a montage, like a full montage, so you can see the full training of what it does and what it looks like and how it's kind of progressed throughout the epochs. But in general, like for a while, like for the first like 2 hours, it wouldn't leave the left hand side. Like it was like always, always on the left hand side. You can see it still fares at the left hand side. And this game is interesting, right? Because it has that error with the right hand side where the paddle goes more to the right than it does to the left. And then that really, I mean, that still throws off the AI. 6 hours later, the AI still has problems with that. But, like, overall though, it's interesting. It's starting to pick it up and like know what to do, right? Like it's starting to hit these shots in the middle. And then so it's starting to increase its score ever so slightly, like another day or two of training, and it would be hitting more and more of these shots. And then so that comes down to the first element of this, right? Like if you wonder, are these models actually learning? Like, do they actually learn? Spend 6 hours watching an AI model learn to play a game like Breakout like this, right? Like, and in this you'll learn a lot and you'll observe a lot from that. Like so then the question of like do they actually learn, like I mean to me it's pretty clear that there's very clear progression within this last 6 hours. Right, this how this model is performing now is light years better than how it was performing 6 hours ago. And like the only way through that is through learning, right? Like I mean that's the only thing that it's been doing is just been playing this game over and over and over again. And then, so to the point where it's now improved upon it. And then, so is it learning well? And then that's kind of like the bottom line concept, right? Like, Yan LeCun, he's put out, he has a popular statement where he says that his house cat learns better than an LLM model. Like, it learns more. Uh, kind of in agreement with that, like in a lot agreement with that. Because while like AI learns, right? Like I think it's a misnomer to say that there's 0% learning occurring. It's not the same as human learning, and it's not like the same level. There's elements missing. It's kind of the bottom line, right? Like, what exactly is missing here? I mean, that's the $1 billion question, right? Like, I don't know exactly what's missing, but I know that there's elements missing. I know that it doesn't take like a human 6 hours to go from falling over itself to barely being able to hit a pong ball in a video game, right? Like, if I were to do this for 6 hours straight, I'd be pretty good at this game. But that brings into the other aspect of it, though, right? And the aspect of it that people don't look at of this, right? And then so if so if I played this game for 6 hours, I would smash all day long this AI model within this amount of training, right? There would be no contest. But if I let this run for 3 days, then this is going to become superhuman, like and no human would ever be able to compete with it on any level whatsoever. And then so uh, if you extend out the timeline long enough and you extend that, that brings in a whole different element to it, right? And I think people don't think about that element of it overall. They just look at this, what we're looking at now, 6 hours in, as opposed to 3 days in, right? And then we're getting at the point now where people are training these models more for like 3 days, and then so that's kind of a bigger concern within this overall. But then I guess kind of the last point within this particular video, why am I diving deeper into reinforcement learning and of what we're looking at here? And to me, I see this as the future, right? There's a lot of arguments and a lot of back and forth over data and synthetic data, especially, right? Does synthetic data lead to model collapse and those types of issues? Within that, to me, reinforcement learning and this type of model training eliminates that question entirely. It is not a concern within environment training, right? Environment training is data. So to me, like training this model on this Atari game, we're training it on data right now, right? Everything that it is learning and is taking in is all data. And then there's no argument as to whether or not it's synthetic data or actual data. It's environment data, which is different, right? And then like there could be distinctions as to whether or not it's synthetic or actual environment data, but I don't think that actually matters. Like it's the environment is the physics and the rules of the universe, and then the physics and the rules of the agent in and of itself within the environment. And then I think that you can break down a lot of equations and break down a lot of things within this. I think that you can solve optimization problems for businesses within this, right? Like I think that that's really flat out my eventual goal is like a AI-based video game to solve for business needs, for like CRM, ERP type concepts, rather than training it on Breakout. You train it on Microsoft Office, on Excel, and but it's a video game built for an AI, and I think that solves every data problem in the world. And I think that's kind of the future within this, and what interests me the most within this. And then so kind of the last thing I'll leave with, and I like to always give you the technical breakdown. How did I do this, right? So within this, I'm using OpenAI Gymnasium. I'm not a big fan of so your two big options really overall to get into reinforcement learning from a software perspective are Unity and OpenAI Gymnasium. I'm not a big fan of and I don't have any interest in ever getting into video game programming in and of itself. But if I had even 1% interest, I'd go the Unity route, flat out, right? So just putting that out there, if you have any interest at all in the video game aspect of this, Unity is great, and it's coupled with all of this, and you can connect to any AI agent, and you can run this all through Unity. For me, I'm far more interested in the programming end. I want to run it all through Python, etc. Right? And then so I use OpenAI Gymnasium. And then here's code that I've set up and I've created here for you. I'll leave a link to this description to this Colab notebook for you. And then it's just a pip install of Gymnasium code. And then here's my simple agent, right? Or so here's my very first attempt at an agent. And then here's this second code. This is the actual agent that is running and what we're looking at here. And then so I'll leave you all of this code. And then so modify this code, play around with it, do whatever you want with it, etc. Don't really run it in Colab because it's Colab. It's going to print out like this, right? So rather than actually being able to utilize it and like what we're looking at here, you just get screenshots, right? And it's all good for nobody. That's not really going to teach you much here, just by looking at these as opposed to actually watching it in real time and having it play in real time. But so I'll leave, but in Collab, I'll share it with you. And then so again, This model is very simple. And so very first thing that you'll want to do is make this model more complex. Update the complexity of the model itself, update the architecture, make it a more complex architecture, and go wild with this. But so here's the basics as to what you need to get up and running. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.